91, scattered thunderstorms Saturday, high 90. Richard DeWetting at the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 86 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, hope you guys are doing well. Plenty to dive into here on the show today. There's a lot to talk about, Chase. I know we talked a lot about some of that stuff yesterday. We only had an hour. Remember, baseball had to resume where they left off. They ended up sealing the deal against St. John's, punching their ticket to the College Men's World Series, Men's College World Series, whatever. You guys know we're not like the biggest experts of baseball. You get the point. They're going to the World Series, guys. First time since 1999. That's the most important part. Shout out to those boys. And we'll definitely be watching them again. Saturday is their first game. They will be playing, was it Oklahoma that won? Is that who? Yeah, they're scheduled to play Oklahoma. So I did see this stat, Chase. The SEC, man, we talk so much about football on the show, which we know we're all football fans here. But if you just talk about the dominance, man, I mean, look at how many teams are in Omaha. I think they set a record for how many SEC teams. Omaha really almost looks like another SEC men's tournament, right? I keep saying men's, baseball, softball. Oh, God. Anyway, yes, I think they set some type of record. So the SEC just, continues to be dominant, man, which is always fun to see. Definitely looking forward to that game Saturday. I'll say this, Chase, baseball, man, there's been some good action throughout the postseason. I've been seeing I haven't watched a whole bunch of games, but I've been seeing some clips. There's been some swagger, some attitude. We kind of talked about that, wanting to see a little bit of that. Not too much. I know Robbie Glenn had called, and you don't want to see too much, but I think it's been a little good for the sport, man. It's been exciting. So hopefully a lot of people will be tuning in to that. You got the NBA Finals going on. Spurs finally picked themselves up a win. Chase, tell me how you feel about that one, man. I know we haven't talked a whole bunch about the finals. We talked a little bit about the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, but you think Wemby and the Spurs, man, can make a comeback? They started off down 2-0, picked themselves up the dub last night. What do you think about this one, man? You think the Knicks are in good shape to finish the job, or how are you feeling about this final so far?
It is everything that I wanted, honestly. I like when you have the best team from the Western Conference and the best in the Eastern Conference, and that's what you're seeing. And it was honestly so cool just to watch the intros and just the lead up to it, like Madison Square Garden, that is just the mecca of it all, Christian. But, you got to give San Antonio credit. They did what they need to do. They stopped Cat from really getting his groove on. Jalen Brunson, he really couldn't get his shot going. He was able to get from his spots, but he had to work a lot harder in those matchups, especially against Stephon Castle. Vassell did really well. De'Aaron Fox, who's been really, really quiet. The rookie version of himself came to life finally. So, and then can't even forget Wemby, the alien of the NBA. He showed why I believe he's going to be the face of the NBA, why LeBron retires, whenever that is. But I think the Spurs is going to win the series. I think Game 3 was the turning point. Because if you think about it, if the Knicks win Game 3, you might as well just call every police department in New York City is going to be turned upside down times 10. And they were streaming a lot of it on TikTok, Christian, of just the shenanigans after the game. But
yeah,
it was crazy. But yeah, just to put a bow on it, Christian, excuse me, I really feel like the Spurs, this is their series to win. That Game 3, I think they'll win it for sure.
Well, you mentioned all the shenanigans going on after the game, and that did go viral. Knicks fans were going viral for the wrong reasons. I thought it was almost like an old clip or made up, but I'm pretty sure it was legit. I think somebody was swinging a bus traffic sign and hitting people. Man, listen, people got to learn how to control their alcohol, man. I don't think they said alcohol was the culprit, but we all know, right? People go to these events, sporting events. They want to have a good time. They normally, indulge in some beverages. And I get it. I don't drink anymore. I used to a little bit here, and I never was a big drinker. I used to drink every now and then, but I don't drink. I've been drinking years, man. I quit drinking a long time ago, man. I just made the decision probably several years back, man, and just was like, I don't like the way I feel after I drink. And I never really got drunk. I would just drink some beer every now and then, but always like feel queasy the next day. Just didn't feel great. Anyway, long story short, man, I'm sure people had probably too many beverages, a little upset after that game, the way it went last night, and yeah, it turned into like a mayhem up there, man. People just got to learn how to act, man. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that was definitely quite the sight to see. Some other stuff going on. We got to piggyback off yesterday's conversation, the whole Sorsby situation, man. We only got a little bit, I guess, through that. There's probably many more things we need to bring up, Chase, because there's been plenty of updates like I figured would be the case. Remember, when we came on air, the news had broke for only a couple hours, right? People were still digesting the news. People were still letting it marinate. Well, since we got off air yesterday, Chase, there's been a lot of updates and a lot of people responding, just like I said was going to happen. But not just from the media side of things. There's plenty of that. Chase, get this, man. You got some coaches, athletic directors, leagues. I mean, people are coming out, Chase, and you're starting to see quickly, man. People are coming together, and they're figuring out how they're going to go about this and they're going to address this. And we're going to talk about some of the things that we've seen so far, because I'll be honest with you, Chase. I figured there would be pushback. I figured people would have some stuff to say, but I didn't necessarily expect people to take action the way I've seen people planning on taking action. So we got to talk a little bit about that and what that could signal and what that could mean. Some other stuff that's come up. We did get another recruit yesterday, Chase. And speaking of recruits and commitments, we've got Andrew Bone of On3, BAM Online. He'll be joining us at 11:30 for all your recruiting updates. Again, we're not the biggest recruiting experts, but we've got folks that are, and that's why we get them to come on the show, and they're gracious with their time. We appreciate Andrew. We had him on last week. I told you guys, a hot summer, right? Literally, and for recruiting-wise, it's going to be pretty busy. So we're going to talk with Andrew Bone about the latest. This past weekend, you had more official visits. You had another commitment from Ty Phillips back in my backyard. And I found out, I don't think he's from Columbia, right? I think he just moved to Columbia. I'm still going to claim that he's from my hometown, but I think he just got there. I think it's like his first year going to school in Irmo. But anyway, he's from my neck of the woods and ends up committing to Alabama, 3-star running back out of Irmo High School. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means. Got to watch some tape on him. And I'll say, man, hey, this guy's fast, Chase. He's got some speed. Now, I know you ran some track, Chase, but this guy, I think he's like a 4.3 guy. So I don't know. He might have you beat on that one. So we'll talk a little bit about him. And, of course, all other things, really, Alabama football recruiting, of course, Sorsby, you name it, we're going to talk about on this Talking Tuesday. And, of course, we always want to encourage you guys to get in on the conversation. 205-342-9904 is the phone number. If you guys want to hit us up on the phone lines, you can always hang out and join our streams on YouTube, on X at the Miller's Edge, on the Tide 100.9 Facebook page as well. We're always streaming live. Come hang out, watch the show, join the comment section. You guys definitely have been pretty active over there, which is always fun. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hit our first time out. Chase, when we come back, we'll keep on rolling again, 11:30. We'll dive into some recruiting talk. We'll talk about this, and we'll ask Andrew Bone, who, again, he's the recruiting expert here for us on the show at this point. What does he think about everything that's been going on? Because, Chase, I don't know if you've seen the noise, but some people are a little concerned maybe with the recruiting. I don't know if it's because of the rankings. I don't know if it's because we missed on a couple of big-name guys that people are a little excited about, maybe a little bit of both. But I do know there's been some rumblings that people aren't necessarily feeling too great about where we stand with recruiting. So we'll go to our expert, Mr. Andrew Bone, and get his thoughts on all that and more when we come back right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Drill combo kit for just $99. Make Father's Day about building something together with a little help from the Home Depot. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy, founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases, known for real care and relentless advocacy.
Best quality to our customers. So we just look at it as, hey, basically, we're your kitchen. You're just coming to eat in your kitchen. Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients generations from every generation.
Across the United States.
And from around the world.
We're here for the rookies and the dreamers.
Trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers.
Who are resilient.
And won't take no for an answer.
We're here for the coaches.
Athletic trainers and mentors who are shaping the
Bluetooth kits and so much more. If your golf cart needs repairs, the pros at Dixie Custom Carts can handle the job. Dixie Custom Carts, Greensboro Avenue in Tuscaloosa.
Catch every game and every moment right here. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. All right, so where do we start, Chase? We got so much to talk about. I'd say we wait till after we talk recruiting with Andrew to dive back into the Sorsby stuff, since that's a lot. And we only have about 10 minutes to talk right now during this segment before we get Mr. Andrew Bone here on the show. So speaking of some recruiting, Chase, we did pick up that commitment yesterday from Ty Phillips again. He's out of Columbia, South Carolina now, but I think he's originally from North Carolina and just transferred down there. But another nice pickup for Alabama. Now, I get it. If you're just going off of rankings and stars and all that, it's probably not going to move the needle for you, Chase, if you just see a 3-star running back. And I think when I pulled up the clip of him doing the commitment, I think it was at Rivals or whoever was doing the commitment video with him, like the broadcast, I think they said he was like the 1,030-something player nationally. I didn't even know they rated that many players. Did you know they ranked that many guys? I always thought it went up to like, I know you have like the 250 or ESPN 300. At least when I was coming out as ESPN 300. And I feel like after that, I didn't even know they did 1,000, Chase. There's 1,000 ranked players in high school. Like, is that serious?
That's crazy.
Dude, let me ask you this: Do they really watch 1,000 kids' tapes? Like seriously, like I just know how hard I can't make up my mind to save my life. Doing rankings is always tough for me. You guys know I'm like always like, whoa, that 1,000 different kids, Chase. I don't think that's very, how do you say this? I was like trustworthy, but you get what I'm saying? I feel like it just gets to a point, like after like the 250, they're probably just like, what separates number 648 from number 893? You know? I don't know how much stock I put into that. I already don't put a whole bunch of stock into this stuff. But anyway, I say all that to say, I like to just watch the tape, right? I don't even care about the stars. Just show me the tape. And after watching this tape, man, he's definitely an intriguing player. Now, Brett Greenberg, who is with, let me click on him. I thought 24/7 Sports. I apologize, Brett. He's with 24/7 Sports. He had posted some of these numbers, man. I like stuff like this. Kid runs a 4.340. Allegedly. Now, I don't know if that was clocked at a camp. I don't know if it was hand time. I don't know if it was laser time. But when I see 4.3, I see 4.3. And then when I watch the tape, Chase, which is more important, right? You know, game speed, there's a difference between like, you know, you being clocked at running something than game speed. Some guys don't run great 40s. Right? There's a lot that goes into it, technique. Even if you're just, you know, swaying a little bit off your line, I mean, your finish, your start, all that stuff's so important. But anyway, 4.340. And then you watch the tape and you can see, man, the dude is definitely quick, fast. I mean, he's got speed, top end speed. I mean, you can see him hit the hole. Definitely an exciting player to watch, it looks like. 42.5 vertical. So really solid numbers. Really, I mean, beyond solid, right? Really, really good stuff in terms of those numbers there. But when you watch the tape, man, good balance and body control. I think he's like 5'11", 195, probably going to put some weight on. I mean, he runs with some good strength. You see him run through some arm tackles. He's elusive. I like him. Right. So I guess I say all that to say I'm not a running back expert, right? Never played running back. Actually, you know what? I played running back 1 or 2 snaps growing up, Chase. 1 or 2 snaps. They put me at running back and I basically got a reverse. That was like it was actually a good play, but I hated the position. I don't know why they did that one play, but it was like Pee Wee football. They just did that anyway. But I can tell you, from playing against some really good running backs, I mean, Alabama U, right? I mean, a running back U here at Alabama, I think I got a good idea on what makes a good running back. And just watching this tape, man, he looks to me like a solid player. I think personally, I don't know if you're going to call it the Bama bump, or maybe just people are put on notice now that he's committed to Alabama, maybe pay a little bit more attention to him. But I think he looks a lot better than the quote-unquote 1,032nd player, whatever that was, in the country. That said, I don't think it matters. I think it matters what you do on the football field and who you are as a football player and person. And just judging based off his commitment video, seems like a good kid. Very respectful to his parents. He made sure he thanked them when he was doing his commitment, and just very well spoken. So anyway, had 114 carries last year for 919 yards, 12 touchdowns. Now is across 7 games as a junior. I think maybe he was injured or something like that. I don't know. But now he joins forces with Mr. Newkirk, who also committed, another running back, a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now. And I think it could be a nice little tandem. It is kind of interesting when you look at the running back room, because there's a lot of guys in there, but maybe they're anticipating, I don't know, maybe a couple guys leave and transfer now. I don't know, Chase. When you look at this running back room, I mean, how do you think all these guys fit in there? Because you got the 2 freshmen from this past class, right, and Crowell and I'm drawing it. What's his name? Please, oh God. The kid that really impressed this spring, anyways. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Chad will help me out in a second. Then you bring in 2 more running backs. Who all is out of eligibility? Is it just – no, I think all the running backs have eligibility to come back. So you got a pretty full room, Chase. Yeah, Brown, thank you. Thank you, Jake. How do you feel like this kind of plays out, Chase? There's a lot of running backs in this room. You think they're just taking a bunch of swings so they finally hit on one of them, or what do you think?
Hey, I think the more the merrier, right? You never know with the transfer portal. You never know if someone gets unhappy with their playing time. It's so crazy to say that, but, it's just we're in the state of college football where you need to have as many bodies as you can because so many things can change. And I just feel like the way Alabama wants to change their running game and how they want to attack on a game-by-game basis, get people who are fast. You said it runs a 4.3. He's, like you say, he's very respectful. I think a lot of the running backs that we've had in the past years, very, very strong, very fast. So I think that fits the mold. And whether he's a 5-star or a 1-star, Alabama likes him. And I think Alabama has a very good eye for talent in terms of running back room. Which, sidebar, I didn't know you you were running back in Pee Wee. You need to, I'm curious. I need to see some highlights on that one.
Whoa. One play, Chase. One play. 2 plays. Yeah. Okay, so I don't want to claim that I was a running back because let's be clear now. I wasn't consistently doing that. They put me back there one time. But I feel like it was, I don't know, I feel like it was a pretty good rep that I did have. It was a reverse, but I got I think it was like a 20-yard gain. It was a big pickup, something like that. At least that's how I remember. Anyway, regardless, I like the addition of Ty Phillips. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch him, but definitely looks like he's an explosive guy. Chase some of that home run ability, and again, we'll keep up with him this upcoming season, right? He'll be a senior back home. And matter of fact, maybe I can make some phone calls back home and see. I don't know if Irmo and Spring Valley, which was my high school, I don't know if we're still in the same conference like we used to be, but maybe I can, I don't know, get some real film on them since he'll probably be playing some teams that I grew up playing against, and we'll kind of go from there. But you mentioned some of those relationships, Chase, and kind of that feel. Well, he talked very highly about Robert Gillespie, right? It almost as if it sounded like they were damn best friends, right? So shout out to Coach G and that relationship there, because it seems like that was maybe something that really helped him make that decision to go ahead and commit to Alabama. Not to mention, he also made it a point that, hey, Alabama is responsible for putting a lot of guys in the league, right? Especially at the running back position, which goes to show you, I just was thinking about this. If you really listen to all the stuff these recruits say, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, it's just, I think it goes to show you these kids, man, they still have the perception of Alabama as Alabama being that dominant program, producing NFL talent. I know Coach DeBoer has only been here 2 years, and they've done some good, and they've produced some draft picks. I think this past year was kind of like the first year that Coach DeBoer really could probably claim some of those guys realistically, right? The year before, those were Coach Saban's guys. This year, I guess he gets some credit for Ty Simpson, even though that was a Saban guy. But Ty started his first year under Coach DeBoer. Jeremy Bernard, Parker Brails, and a few guys. But you're still seeing some of that talent, maybe not in the same, I don't know, the same rate. But a lot of these guys speak very highly of that. So it just, I wanted to point out, it's very clear these guys still have a high level of respect for Alabama. So it's really important, I think, you try to maintain that because when you hear him talk about it, everything they mentioned is a lot of the success that, we had years ago, almost like when I was here, right? You're talking about he's mentioned all the running backs that have come through Alabama, right? Well, since the last couple of years, I don't know if we'd really have anybody to really, other than Jam, you know what I mean? It's not like he's mentioned all the guys I might have played with. I've seen other guys talk about whether it's linebacker play, offensive line play. These guys still kind of associate Alabama and being dominant in the, pipeline for the NFL. So hopefully we can continue that. That said, let's go ahead and do this, Chase. Let's hit our timeout a little early because I know we got Andrew Bone coming up. I want to make sure we get him on in enough time. Got to be respectful of him. Then when we come back, we'll be joined by Mr. Andrew Bone. We'll continue talking some recruiting. We'll dive into it. We'll ask his honest opinion. Is he a little concerned, or does he understand why fans are a little concerned when it comes to recruiting? Again, Alabama just picked up, I want to say, I don't even want to count, I think 9th or 10th commitment. But right now, currently sit outside the top 25 when it comes to recruiting classes. So we'll get the inside scoop from Mr. Andrew Bone from Bama Online on 3. When we come back right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless
rides, nightly concerts, and the granddaddy of all field sports, Choctaw Stickball.
Visit ChoctawIndianFair.com and like us on Facebook.
Hope to see you there. Hachapisa Lajige.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies and the dreamers,
trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer.
We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers and mentors who are shaping the next generation of legends.
We are here for you,
aggressively pursuing victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel, a specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
The flagship station for Alabama Crimson Tide sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, where we're now going to the phone lines and joined by our guest up today, Mr. Andrew Bone of Bama Online on 3 Sports. Had Andrew on last week because he is basically our recruiting expert at this point. So we had to get the latest updates, everything recruiting, especially Alabama related. Andrew, welcome in. A good Tuesday to you.
Yeah. How we doing this week, Christian?
Man, we're doing well, man. Can't complain, man. Ready to talk some recruiting with you, man, and get the latest. I know that Alabama had a big recruiting weekend again, another official visit weekend this past weekend, which I know we had the commitment yesterday. We'll get to that here in a second, but we got to, go back a couple of days because Alabama did, in fact, pick up 2 commits over the weekend. But Andrew, I'm sure there's probably some other activity, some other visitors maybe that didn't commit. Give us the rundown on the latest from this past weekend and that official visit that also featured, I believe, Elijah Haven, the 5-star quarterback out of Louisiana. What went down in Tuscaloosa this past weekend?
Yeah, for sure. As we talked about last week, we talked about how these official visits are a lot smaller than what we've seen in the past, mainly because it's a much smaller recruiting class. They're going to probably sign less than 20 players, and they're really kind of trying to focus on, as far as the bigger name prospects that you're going to see ultimately in Alabama's class, probably about 12 or 13 overall there. Just because there are financial, incentives for a lot of these kids now, and with Alabama, they have a young team. They're going to return a lot of players next season, as expected to return a lot of players next season. So I think such a big focus is on roster retention, next year. So, that's a big part of it. But, obviously recruiting is still a thing that they're trying to have success with this cycle. And over the weekend, we saw 5 visitors on campus. Now, pretty interesting setup because you had Elijah Haven as the only commitment on campus, but then you had 2 others who jumped on board. So, 3 of the 5 now committed to Alabama. You had another tight end that was on campus, Colton Johnson, who, after Alabama picked up their second tight end commitment, you just can't, you're not going to take a third tight end right now. So, that kind of eliminates him. And then Majay Thompson, who's a wide receiver out of North Carolina. And we've talked about him a good bit throughout the last few months, received an offer back during the spring, made a few trips to Tuscaloosa, and it felt like Alabama was a legit contender there. But after the first weekend, when we saw Monsoon Sales, Osani Gales, 2 really elite players in the top 100. Monsoon, obviously the number 1 receiver in the country, and those 2 guys still out there, still available, still have Alabama very high on their list. You just see it as Alabama's going to have to wait right now before they really take another wide receiver commitment, especially one that's you're going to have to pay a little bit of money for right now. They're just not going to be able to spend a heavy amount with guys like that are still out there, and they still have some other receivers that are going to be coming in over the next couple of weeks. So, we take those 2 guys out of the equation right now, Majay Thompson and Colton Johnson. So the other 2 that were in town that committed over the weekend, I'll start with Luke Cody, kicker, and that's going to be the only special teams player in Alabama's class as far as right now. I don't see anything changing unless they decide, maybe later on, closer to the end of the season, if they need to take somebody else. But Luke is a player that has only played football for 2 years, a star baseball player, started learning how to kick and did really well, and had a really good season this past year. And I think he went maybe 10 of 14 on field goals. He was perfect on extra points, but he had a long of 54 yards, went to some camps, some kicking camps. One of the biggest ones is Coles. They do a great job of evaluating kickers. I'll tell you what, I don't know anything about evaluating kickers. I can watch just about any position group. I've seen them. You go to so many camps and events and stuff throughout, especially for me, the last 23 years, and I've never really watched the kicker at a high school camp before. So I don't know what to look for when I go to high school camps and watch them. Obviously, you can tell on game days and in live game action. But I know that Alabama watched them last Monday. They really liked them a lot at their special teams camp. Obviously, when you're the only offer that gets extended from that event, you got to be pretty good. And it did really well at like I said, the Coles kicking camp. I think he had a 61-yarder there, so he's got a pretty big leg, and still kind of new to the sport. So he was excited to jump on board, and I think he's rated the number 7 kicker in the country. So good for Alabama to get somebody like that. And then you also added Michael Nanabuff, who is a St. Francis Academy player, one of the top high school football factories in the country. Alabama signed Jaira Edwards from their last cycle, and then they also recently picked up a commitment out of there as well from 28 linebacker. So I think that Michael is such a unique player because he's 6'5", 200, and I think he's like 246 pounds right now. Clocked to 4.61, 4.62 at a recent Under Armour camp. I mean, just had a really unique athlete. Big kid. He's one of two tight end commitments, joining Oakley Keegan, who's a 6'7", 230-pounder. So they got two really good tight end commitments that I think new tight ends coach Richard Owens is really excited to have on board. And then yesterday, pick up a commitment from Ty Phillips. I guess I call him the speedster in Alabama's class right now. He's about 5'10", 5'11", right around 200 pounds. Went to the opening regional camp in Atlanta back in the spring. Was the fastest 40-yard dash time there, 4.40. He had the second highest vertical jump at 42.5. Just a tremendous guy that can really take it the distance from anywhere on the field. So gives you two running back commitments after Nigel Newkirk committed last week. So they're excited about some of their position groups on offense right now, because you have two quarterback commitments, you have two running back commitments, you have two tight end commitments, working to get two wide receiver commitments hopefully over the next couple weeks. Offensive line, I really don't know if they're going to sign an offensive lineman in this cycle. They could end up with one, but because of the success that they've had over the last couple cycles, including bringing in some transfers that are young, you're essentially going to bring back all of your players, or they at least have the option to return next season. I do think end up losing a couple that aren't playing, that aren't going to play next fall or this fall, and may not have a chance to see the field the following fall either. So you might see a few of those guys into the transfer portal after the season. But as far as I think your starters and maybe even your top 7 or 8 guys, we should see most of those players, if not all, come back next season. So I think Alabama just really focus in on that wide receiver group, and then see if they can pull an offensive lineman. But that's really it for offense. More focus on defense right now with several guys still available.
Yeah, and I got to see Mitchell Turner and watch his tape yesterday. I'm impressed with him. I think he could be a really good player. He doesn't have that length necessarily. I think he's like 6'1.5", maybe 285. That's what it showed. But I can tell you a good football player, and he seems advanced for his age right now in terms of pass rush ability. He's got a great counter, very heavy-handed, a lot of hand activity, explosive, looks very disruptive. So I think it looks like you guys have got him crystal ball to Alabama. I think that'd be a good pickup. But we'd love to see some other defensive guys. Andrew, you mentioned 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs. I know we're in contention for 2 receivers, man. I need my defense to get some love. But speaking of those receivers, tell me, because I think there's those two top guys, right? Sales and the other one. I think Sales and Gales. I think it kind of rhymes there. But what there you go. What's the likelihood or possibility you would think of maybe landing both? Do you feel like there's one that leans a little bit more towards Alabama getting a commitment from? What's your thoughts on that, the wide receiver situation right now?
Well, yeah, I think the thing you have to consider looking at some of these wide receivers that are still available, especially the top guys, they're number one wide receiver on a lot of different recruiting boards right now, and definitely going to attract very high financial offers from a lot of these schools, especially Sales, who lives in Indiana, has been to Indiana a lot of times. We know about the mega booster they have there with Mark Cuban, and largest alumni association in the country. So I think they are certainly going to go all in there with him and try to do everything they can to make it very difficult for him to say no. But I do think that Alabama is strongly in it. I think they've made a really good pitch to him. He's originally from Alabama. His nickname's Bama. He grew up an Alabama fan, got a lot of family still in Alabama. And we saw that with the pictures a few weeks ago with his entire family down in Tuscaloosa. So I think that's something that he's strongly considering, because of all those connections. But we'll just have to wait and see. He's got visits still coming up, Texas, Ohio State, before making a decision, and just kind of see how that plays out. And then with Gales, I think Alabama had a great official visit with him. He's been to Tuscaloosa 4 times. Really was high on the visit a few weeks ago, and coming off a trip to Washington, been to Stanford, still has Tennessee and Notre Dame coming up. Very academic families. His family's originally from Seattle. His sister graduated from one of his sisters graduated from Washington. Another just graduated from NYU. So that's obviously an important aspect for him. But he really likes the development aspect, the relationships that he's built down in Tuscaloosa. And I think one of those two, I'd be sort of surprised if they could not get one of those two on board. I do not think it's a realistic possibility of getting both of them. Will they try? Sure, they'll certainly try, but I think you're really going to have to commit some high money for either one of those players. So we'll kind of see how that one plays out. There's another player, Khalil Taylor, out of the Pittsburgh area, who original Penn State commitment, went to Penn State this past weekend, said he was shutting things down, didn't commit, just said he wasn't going to take any more visits, and then had a change of heart, decided that he was going to keep at least his Alabama visit next weekend. That's a top 100 player that the staff seems to really like, and they're going to bring a couple other guys in. Cedric Simmons out of Selma that's got an offer last weekend, and Colin Caldwell out of Florida. Probably, I'm not going to say that they're lower end players at all, but they're just not going to be as expensive as some of these other guys that they're recruiting right now. So I think the guys, those 3 guys that I mentioned before, I think they can potentially pull one of them, and then obviously they're going to have a chance to get either Simmons or Caldwell as well.
We're joined by Andrew Bone, recruiting expert, of course, and he's with On3 Sports, Bama Online. Make sure you guys check out all the work that they're pumping out. Some really good content, as you guys can hear, man. Andrew's going to give you guys a lowdown on all things Bama recruiting. Andrew, I got to ask you, I've been hearing a lot of rumblings, man. A lot of fans, a little concerned when they look at this recruiting class. I know you mentioned it earlier. Probably going to be a smaller class. Coach DeBoer has said that. He probably maybe less than 20 guys or so. But a lot of fans see these recruiting rankings, right? And I think right now Alabama is sitting outside of the top 25. And I know QD, who's in our chat here on our stream, he mentioned that potentially Alabama has the chance to finish outside, I think, like top 6 in recruiting for the first time since like 2007. Understanding how this works, and the less players that you have in a class, typically your ranking is going to be affected some. But from your perspective as someone who covers it as in depth as you do, are you concerned at all with this class, or are you not concerned in the slightest? I mean, I know KJ Green, I saw people mentioning him. They were upset. Maybe people were hoping we could land him. I think LSU ended up grabbing him not long ago. But it seems like Alabama's, they might have missed on some guys, but it seems like they also really was prioritizing the guys that they feel like are important. How do you what do you make out of right now Alabama's recruiting class, and are you concerned at all with kind of where they stand?
No, I'm not concerned. I know from a fan perspective, and looking from the outside in, you would certainly be concerned. You would be worried. You would question what's going on. Is Alabama losing in the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs really impacting the recruiting efforts that much? And no, it's really not. As we've said since January, it was going to be a smaller class. So, and roster retention, as I mentioned earlier, is such a big part of that, and the money that you're really trying to commit there. So, as far as this class is concerned, 2027, not 2028. We're going to see a big push on the M28 class because you're going to see so many guys from the team exit the program, after next year, did a graduation or early enrollment, but early entry into the NFL draft. But I think right now, Alabama has missed on a couple of players, and I don't know if I would say KJ Green was necessarily a miss. I mean, Alabama did have him, as a guy that they were heavily recruiting, that they would have paid a little bit of money for, but they weren't going to go just significantly over the top. I think as far as paying a good bit of money, and when I say good bit of money, $600,000 or more to a high school recruit, you're looking at a guy who is physically ready to potentially come in and not necessarily make an impact, but see the field, because this is a 1-year deal. You're not, do you want to pay a player $800 million for them to come in as a freshman, potentially just sit the bench, develop, and then you just kind of have to wait and see, and then renegotiate after your freshman year to stick around and not go somewhere else because the playing time was just not there this past season. They were so disappointed and all that kind of stuff. So, I do think they have missed on a couple other players at other positions, I would say. Gideon Gash, who committed to Texas Tech this past weekend, the top 100 safety that they really liked. They also really liked Gabriel Osborne out of Oklahoma, committed to Oklahoma. And then I would say Frederick Ards, as far as a player on the edge, is a guy that they absolutely loved. Been to campus a few times, then committed to Texas A&M on that first official visit weekend. So I know that Ards and Gabriel Osborne were probably the two biggest ones that they were most upset about it as far as losing. And they're still very involved and high on the list for several of these other guys that have yet to make decisions. And I think you just have to kind of wait and see how it plays out over these next few weeks as the official visits conclude and decisions start to happen. Now, if we get into July and we see more of these guys that have decided to go elsewhere, you miss on your top wide receiver. You don't get one of those top wide receiver targets. You miss on potentially you mentioned Mitchell Turner earlier. I mean, Mitchell Turner is certainly a guy that they like and they've recruited and built a strong relationship with. But does he look at Alabama signing 5 defensive linemen in last year's class as a potential roadblock? And I think a lot of schools that are recruiting him, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, is going out to Texas this weekend, are certainly telling him that, hey, look, they just signed 5 defensive linemen. When are you going to see the field? So that's something I think Alabama's going to have to battle. I think they have to get Antoine Jackson after missing on Ards, even though they were really pushing for Antoine Jackson as well. That's a big edge who's 6'5", almost 260 pounds out of the Memphis area. I mean, that's a big target for them. So, can they get him on board? Defensive back wise, I think that corner, they don't have any corners right now. I think they really need to close well there. 5-star Hayden Stepp right now has Alabama, really at the front of the pack. I think that he's got a big visit coming up this weekend to Oregon. And I know he's got some other trips, Cal and Georgia, but Alabama and Oregon have been battling throughout the whole year in that top 2 spot. So we've seen Mo Lindquist do exceptionally well recruiting defensive backs, and we know that Hayden Stepp had a great trip a few weekends ago. So it just kind of is going to come down to the wire in the defensive backfield. Now, we do feel really good about Darius White, another DB out of Georgia, guy that Mo Lindquist has really focused in on since January. He's a 6'3", 180-pound DB. Georgia Tech, Florida State, they were all heavily involved there, but don't see him taking any more visits and expect him to commit to Alabama at some point whenever he says that a decision is happening on July 2nd. I don't know if he's going to wait that long, but we'll kind of see what happens. But do think that they're going to close with some of their bigger targets, and even though some of them are 3 stars, when you're recruited for such a long time and you have offers, that's what I kind of focus on more so than where a player is ranked. Because if you're recruited heavily by this staff, they've identified, they've really, narrowed the field to a lot of these players. And, when you see the official visitors that are coming in, and it's a very low number, but you still are heavily involved with those guys that are in town, that are on campus. With only a few that have committed elsewhere, you have to at least trust that Alabama feels like they're doing the right thing as far as the number of guys that they're bringing in. On the high school front, kind of pick and choose when the portal season opens, where they really need to. Because last portal season a little different because you're having to bring in a lot of guys. I think they brought in 21 guys from the transfer portal, and you don't have to do that this year. You can probably bring in 5 or 6 players, give or take. I mean, we'll have to see how that all plays out. But I think they will be willing to, even spend a lot more, for good players because they're just not having to get a significant number of players from the portal, I guess next January. So Alabama fans, just calm down. Take a breath. It's going to be okay. I'm not worried about it, but I'll tell you, in a few weeks, I might have a different feeling on that. But I do think everything's going to be all right. But I don't think Alabama's going to finish in the top 10. And I know that's probably going to be tough for a lot of people to understand. But there's only been one team that has finished in the top 10 in the last, I think, 10 years, and with less than 20 commitments in their recruiting class. So a lot of it has to deal with numbers. When you look at, they're not going to have a top 10 class with 15 commitments, even if they were all top 100 kids. That's just not realistic. So we'll see how it shakes out. But if they can get a lot of their guys that they're still heavily involved in over these next few weeks, I'd feel really good about the class overall.
Andrew, man, great stuff as always. Always an amazing breakdown that you do, and we appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us. Please tell everybody how they can keep up with all the latest that you guys have going on at Bama Online.
Yeah, well, come check us out, BamaOnline.com. I know we got a summer special right now, 50% off for an annual subscription. Come check it out. Daily content. Talk to us on the message board. But we're pretty active on there as far as content and features every single day, and I think all Alabama fans will enjoy it.
Absolutely, man. And so if you guys want those updates that Andrew's dropping in live time, join Bama Online. You guys can see it on the message boards and get the latest updates as they drop. Andrew, appreciate you as always, man. Look forward to talking soon, and hopefully we got some good news again next week or the week after.
Sounds good, Christian. Have a good week.
Yes, sir. You too, brother. Good stuff, man. Good deal, man. Andrew Bone of Bama Online on 3 Sports. Always great to have him on the show. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we respond and keep rolling right here on this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230.
Tuscaloosa's destination for iconic Jeeps. Drive a new 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4, priced at $54,529.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of The Game, we're going to have a chance to talk to Mike Detillier, WWL. The Big 870, we'll talk to Andy Phillips, former Alabama Crimson Tide baseball player the last time Alabama went to Omaha. And we'll talk to the athletic director for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Greg Byrne, all on the Tuesday edition of The Game, starting at 2 p.m. on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
From 9, that's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Sunshine here this afternoon, 91. 73 tonight with a fair sky. Sunny tomorrow with a high 92. 92 on Thursday with abundant sunshine. Storm chances and moisture will be on the increase by the end of the week. Showers and storms return to the forecast on Friday, 91. Scattered thunderstorms Saturday, high 90. Richard DeWetting of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 87 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The flagship station for Alabama Crimson Tide football.
Alabama touchdown.
Only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Talking Tuesday. First hour, we got to close things out, but real quick, let me remind you about our friends over at Lamprello Law, our official representation. If you guys need that representation, any criminal defense matter, whether it's academic, NIL situations, academic misconduct, you name it, they've got you covered. They're going to do it in a first-class manner. They're going to fight for you. But I think the greatest thing of all is it's affordable, man. They've got affordable prices, so make sure you guys check them out. You can schedule a consultation at lamprello-law.com, plus find out about all the other services that they also offer, which include, the subject matter mastery, exam and test taking preparation, all that good stuff, career and academic planning for high school, graduate, college students, all that good stuff, man. Check them out right now, lamprello-law.com. Adam and his team will get you right and take care of you, just like they take care of us right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. We got to hit this top hour break. When we come back, we keep on rolling, talk a little bit more about this Sorsby situation and more right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Steve DeSager.
The San Antonio Spurs won at New York in Game 3 of the NBA Finals, 115-111. Victor Wembanyama with 32 points. The Knicks' lead in the series is 2-1 now. The Knicks will host Game 4 on Wednesday, but Game 5 will be played Saturday in San Antonio. The Knicks had won 13 in a row. Their last loss was over a month and a half ago in the first round of the playoffs at Atlanta. The Hawks gave Coach Quinn Snyder a multi-year contract extension. WNBA wins for New York, Las Vegas, and Indiana, which got a Caitlin Clark game-winning 3 to win at Washington 78-76. A judge in Texas gave Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby an injunction to play this season. He had been ineligible after gambling. The NCAA has already appealed. In Major League Baseball, the Yankees won in 10 innings at Cleveland 7-5. Tampa Bay 3-1 over Boston. Wins for Washington and San Diego.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamprello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy. For guidance you can trust, call 201-317-5115 or visit lamparello-law.com. That's Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Proud
from our home base in Birmingham, Alabama. We are here treating patients patients from every generation,
across the United States,
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies
And the dreamers,
Trying to make a name for themselves.
we are here for the achievers.
Who are resilient.
And won't take no for an answer.
We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers and mentors who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you.
aggressively pursuing victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of The Game, we're going to have a chance to talk to Mike Detillier, WWL. The Big 870, we'll talk to Andy Phillips, former Alabama Crimson Tide baseball player the last time Alabama went to Omaha. And we'll talk to the athletic director for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Greg Byrne, all on the Tuesday edition of The Game, starting at 2 p.m. on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with 4-time SEC champion and 2-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Big thanks to our guy, Mr. Andrew Bone, who just joined us from On 3, gave us the latest breakdown in terms of everything Alabama recruiting, and really good stuff. Again, if you guys want constant updates and all that good stuff from Andrew, man, you can always follow him on his X account, of course, but also sign up for On 3 because they definitely will have all the latest for you guys. Bama Online specifically. BamaOnline.com is Alabama specific. And then On 3, of course, is the parent company now with all the buyouts and all that good stuff. Make sure you guys keep up to date with them. Chase, I said we dive back into some of this Sorsby talk. And then, of course, we got to talk to you guys as well, 205-342-9904. So before we do the Sorsby talk, let's go back to the phone lines because I believe we got 2 callers on the line. We got first, we got our guy Turner from South Kakalaki, man. Turner, welcome in. Turner, you still there? Going once, twice, and sold. Turner might have dropped. I get it. We had Andrew on the line. I probably should have mentioned that before. Turner, if you want to circle back, man, we'd love to take your call again, 205-342-9904. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got our guy Smitty up next. Smitty, welcome in.
How's it going, Christian?
Good, man. Listen, see, I came right to you, man. Listen, I gotta prioritize my guy Smitty, man. Listen, you didn't even have to wait today.
Hey, all I gotta say is thanks a lot, brother. But if you know, you know what that means. I'm not going to elaborate. But you're talking to Bone, and like you were talking about earlier, and I see your point about like paying for defensive line in transfer portal, because I think a lot of fans don't understand defensive line is a developmental position. Not too many defensive linemen come in day one and ball out. And I put down the chat, there are diamonds in the rough because Stephen Daly was Indiana's best pass rusher before he got hurt in the Big Ten championship game. he was a no-name guy at Kent State, and got picked up by Indiana. They saw something, and he became one of their best pass rushers before he got hurt. But you remember that guy in Miami, Akeem Mesidor?
Oh, yeah.
He was like a lowly rated guy who went to West Virginia. No big boy offers. And Miami got him early on. I think he spent like a year there, and he spent the rest of the time in Miami. So a lot of times, it's not about maybe getting that big name guy you heard of, but there are guys everywhere who may have been under recruited, who got some size and measurables and stuff like that, who's hungry. And those are guys you can look at as well. So when I tell fans, if they pick a certain guy up that may have gone somewhere else, that guy may be a pretty good player. Because I remember when Nick Saban brought in Tyler Steen from Vanderbilt, it was like, you brought in the Vanderbilt left tackle. How bad off are you? He's still in the league right now. So, and he was starting on the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So, if I'm going to spend big money on edge, that is a developmental position because you played it, so you know. I'd rather do that with a guy who's been in college a year or two because I'm going to spend that money anyway. And I think with somebody like that, you may not disrupt your locker room as much because the guy already been developed a little bit more so than the guy who hasn't played a snap for you yet, like even in college. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, my thing is, listen, I think it really just depends on who you have and kind of where you stand as a roster, right? You're right. A lot of guys do have to develop, but it depends. I mean, not everybody's created equal, right? Because if you look at me coming out of high school, I'm one of those guys that you already knew that it was going to need a year or two to really get bigger, get stronger before I was going to have some meaningful snaps in me. But you look at a guy like, like Dallas Turner. When he came out of high school, I think Dallas actually lost weight when he got here. I think Dallas was like 250, 260 initially coming out of high school, and he dropped some weight. But he was a bigger, stronger guy, great athlete, and that's why he was able to play at a younger age. I mean, Will Anderson, he was, I think, probably around like 235-ish, maybe 240 by the time, the season came around. We saw him play as a true freshman, right? He was definitely more advanced. So, while I will agree, I mean, a lot of upfront positions typically do require more development. I will say edge is one of those things where if a guy is, how do I explain? It's not like offensive line where offensive line, I mean, you got to get bigger, physically a lot stronger to really be able to hold yourself up. Edge, you probably can be a little bit better of an athlete. You might be at a little bit of a disadvantage because you're not as strong as you would be when you're older and more physically developed, but you could still carve out, some roles, whether it's pass rush, or just kind of mixing it up a little bit. So I think it depends on the player, Smitty, but here's my thing. I think when you look at the edge position for Alabama after this season, I mean, you're expecting to lose Yonze Pierre, Zulu, he's on his final year of eligibility now. If they make this new rule 5 for 5, I think, and I don't know if any of the edge guys apply for this, but I'm sure somebody or something would probably change. But you pretty much are losing the majority of your guys. So I will say this. I feel like, you could afford to get – you're not afford. You kind of need to at least sign, even for depth purposes. You need some more edge guys. Yep. But I do believe when it comes time next season or after the season, next off season, and the transfer portal opens up, if there's a quality edge player, man, you go get that guy and you pair him up with a guy like Justin Hill. You sign a young guy for depth purposes, and I think you're solid there. But I'm not saying that they've only been budget hunting, but I don't think we've necessarily put the same effort as some of these other programs. And I hope maybe the philosophy is a little bit different given, the status of where some of these positions are. Does that make sense? Because I just look at the offensive line this offseason, and I was just like, man, with that being a glaring need, I thought we would have definitely tried to go in on some of those, some of those more expensive guys, just because it was a desperate need, but that really wasn't our approach. So I'm just wondering if maybe they're shifting that philosophy some moving forward. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because I think with the smaller class, that really opens up because, and one thing about what Bone was talking about, the class size representing where you rank, USC was number 1, but they signed 35 players, and a lot of those are 3-star guys and everything. And I'm not knocking 3 stars, but you know what I'm saying? Is that, hey, you get on the field, you get on the field. It doesn't matter once you get on the field what your star rating was.
Exactly.
But so right there, and I'm expecting them to hit that portal hard for edge and line play and stuff like that because you have the money freed up now. And I don't want to hear that. because I believe if you miss out on a guy there, they better drop off a Godfather offer if you get what I'm saying. If you miss out. But I know you up again. Can I touch on the Sorsby thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Take your time.
All right. As a guy who does sports betting and some offshore 20 years ago, and here's the thing. It ain't the betting app, because you could have done www.anything even back then. And the state of Alabama is actually one of the states that lead the nation in illegal sports betting per capita because it's not legal. But here's the thing with Sorsby. It's a choice. He's not a victim. They can say, well, these gambling apps. I don't know how it was when you played, because I know sports betting wasn't legal, but I bet there was a sign saying, don't bet on football, because everybody knows what Coach Saban every week told you guys, don't drink and drive. You could probably call him if you had his number, but you could call somebody on the team. So, like, they got a service to pick you guys up. Uber, all that stuff like that, even up to with the team. So you know these things. And the guy broke the law because he was doing it underage. And because sports betting in Texas is not legal yet. So he was wiring money to people to bet in his place. That's against the law. So if people want to talk about, oh man, they let that. Nothing will happen with Georgia and those people driving like Batman, driving crazy. That does not affect the integrity of the game. Someone who bet on his team, he bet the under on quarterbacks passing yards. This is insider trading in a way when you look at it. That is the integrity of the sport.
It was reported that he did that? Or are you just saying that?
No, he did, because he bet on props at Indiana when he was at Indiana. And he bet, like, even though he bet for them to win, you still bet on them. Because who's to say that, hey, I got 3 touchdowns here, I need to throw this touchdown, I got to call audible. Anything. And we seen there was a player, I think it was the Iowa State quarterback, last name Deckers. He got banned for betting like a year or so ago. He should be suing. The Alabama baseball coach, Brian Bohannon, should be suing right now. If that's the case, they can say, hey, I had a bad day, my dog died, and I got to gamble. They should say that. and people talk like, oh, man, second chance. There are people right now in prison who going to get a second chance, but they got to serve their time first. What are we teaching young people? That you can break the rules all you want, but we just cry about it and go to a judge, they waive it. And Christian, I just think that it's like people say, well, I don't care. My thing is, there is a hard, fast rule. Everybody knows this. You can't bet against stuff like that. People been locked up over this. We got NBA guys going to jail for messing up their point spreads and stuff. Terry Rozier may be looking at prison. Everything in life is a choice. And I just think that with this story here, the Big 12 has to step in here. And the thought I had yesterday when I heard about this may actually speed up the SEC and the Big 10 breaking away. Because if you can't even monitor enforce the integrity of the game, what good are you? And that's just something that just crossed my mind there, because as someone who does sports betting every now and then, I know not to do crazy stuff. I have restraint. I don't go crazy with it. Or if I'm visiting my family in Alabama, I'm not wiring buddies money in Phoenix to bet on a game. I'm not doing that. That's a choice. And we have to start giving consequences and telling people that's a choice. Because they say he's addicted. Yeah. You can't be addicted on something you chose to do. You cannot be addicted unless you chose to do it. And that's just what I think about it. And as someone who played, how would you feel if your quarterback was out there betting on stuff like that?
Well, a couple of things to chime in on. Number one, as somebody that played, if I found out our quarterback was doing that, I mean, I would be, it wouldn't, as athletes, we just all know, man, like betting and gambling, especially like within the sport, is like a cardinal sin, right? It's something that you don't fool with, right? Whether it's because, again, federally, I'm pretty sure it is a crime. to do stuff like that, fixing sports or just betting within itself with insider training, whatever the terminology is. We all just know to stay away from that. But I think I would just view it as, number one, just selfish, man. I don't view it as selfish. Like, why are you going out your way to do that? Like, there's no need. Not to mention, I mean, I don't know exactly all the years he's been in college without pulling it up, but I'm pretty sure NIL was a thing majority of the time this guy's been in college, man. And to your example about it being an issue, like, listen, I'll be the first one to tell you, man, I respect whatever someone's going through. I mean, I go through a lot myself, right? Like, I get that point, but I gave the example. You know, it's like if someone's addicted to alcohol, you know, you can, you know, feel empathetic for them and understand, man, unfortunately, you know, that their issue with alcohol influenced that decision, but they committed, whether it's a crime or they did something that deserves a consequence. You can't just ignore it just because you're saying, oh, well, unfortunately, they were under the influence of alcohol and he's got an alcohol problem. If that alcoholic goes out and gets in a car wreck and takes somebody's life, knock on wood, and I know it's a terrible thing to bring up, but you get the point. You don't excuse them because of that. They still have to face the consequences. So that's kind of how I feel about this situation with him. You can offer, even if which it sounds like it's a legit gambling issue. I'm not going to discredit anybody's mental health. I would never do that. But I will say you can help somebody, get them the help, while also, you know, giving them proper consequences, because this is something that affects so much more than just, he just was doing a little gambling on the side. No, I mean, we're talking about this could change college athletics. I mean, period. It already is. You know, it's a big deal. So I think it needs to be addressed accordingly. And right now, I just don't know if that's actually taking place. But I applaud some of the people that have stepped up. I think it looks like Georgia and who's the other school? I think Nebraska, their athletic departments allegedly have started to instruct coaches not to schedule Texas Tech. I've heard some coaches actually say they want to play against Sorsby. I mean, it's kind of all over the place, but I think at this point, kind of like Jake mentioned earlier in the chat, I think you kind of, until you get some type of legislation or guidelines federally or just some help from the government, right, to enforce this stuff, I think maybe this might not be a bad step. Just kind of put your foot down and say, hey, you know, you're right, Cody Campbell. If you can work within the rules, that's cool. But we also have the choice and the ability and the decision to say, we don't want to, you know, fool with you guys because we believe in integrity within the sport and we're not for that. And so I think maybe that could help kind of, I don't know, maybe give a little bit of pushback. But I also know there is a trial that's set, but I think it's set for like way out or something like that. But I knew
he'd be out. He's gone then.
Yeah, I was about to say February 8th, 2027, 2 weeks after the college football championship will be played. So that's irrelevant. But I think the NCAA has an opportunity to sue and try to, I don't know, gain some of their ground back. We'll have to see how that goes. But I don't know, things crazy. But as just like you said, you gamble every now and then, and if for you to sound like the way you sound, there's clearly a problem with this. It's not just some petty little betting he was doing.
Yeah, because it's integrity of the game. Because you don't want folks like we watch WWE, but folks know what it is, right? Because we know it's scripted entertainment.
Right.
The NBA has had people hanging over their head stuff is fixed on the draft lottery to playoff games. You don't want this guy throwing a pick six. It just been a bad read or whatever. Oh, man, he tried to hit his parlay. You don't want that hanging over your head as a sport because a quarterback could throw like I remember that was that play Jalen Milroe threw an interception on a screen pass against Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. What if someone said that, hey, you know, I thought it was just a bad play. Hey, things happen. But folks, you're going to have people saying, oh, man, they trying to throw the game down. How can you do a play like that? And I'm just saying stuff like that to hurt the integrity. But I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Brendan Sorsby play. I don't think he's that good to be going through all this trouble. Now, he's a position. They pay you on positional value. But how do you think Nick Saban would have dealt with this? I don't think he would have cared that Cody Campbell gave all the money. But how do you think he would have dealt with this?
Man, that's a great question, bro. I mean, to be honest with you, number one, he's always been big. If I even say this like this, people are going, what are you talking about? Hey, Alabama was paying play. Like, no, listen, Coach Saban's big on doing the right thing, integrity. I mean, like, as you guys can clearly see, right? That's why he's going and trying to help come up with the solution for all the madness that we're seeing. But without a doubt, man, I fully believe Coach Saban wouldn't have fooled with it. I believe Coach Saban would have let him go. But first and foremost, this is exactly what would happen. Coach Saban would have gotten him the help that he needed, He would have helped get him in any type of rehab program, inpatient, outpatient, whatever the case may be, provided him with all the resources necessary. He wouldn't have left him hanging from a personal standpoint. But what he would have done is he would have walked away from it. He would not have allowed this to consume us as a team, because that's exactly what this would do. You're talking about national news. It's all over the place. All the headlines are all over the place. He knew that would be just way too much of a distraction. It wouldn't be worth it. So he would have respectfully dismissed the young man from the team and moved on, from an athletic standpoint. But he definitely would have supported him in any way possible to get him the help needed. That's how it would have been handled, no doubt about it. He would have told the booster, Cody Campbell, or whatever collective, he would have told him to screw off or go on with yourself. That's not what we're going to do here. We're going to just move on. And he probably, and I'm telling you, whoever did not inform him of these things before the young man signed that NIL contract, I'm telling you right now, anybody that helped get this kid on campus and did not inform him, whether that was recruiters, advisors, coaches, I'm telling you right now, he would have, oh my God, he would have gone nuclear on anybody and everybody. That is exactly how it would have been handled if this was Coach Saban dealing with this.
Hey, thank you very much, Christian. Thanks for taking my call. You guys keep doing the great work.
Always appreciate you, Smitty. Oh, man, good stuff. Chase, I'm telling you right now, man. Oh, my, I would not, if because it sounded like the previous school that Sorsby was at, was it Cincinnati or wherever he came from? They knew about some of this crap, but I guess Texas Tech maybe wasn't fully aware until he got, I don't know, but oh, man, I would be heated. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more. Speaking of Cody Campbell, I want to revisit that quote that he had yesterday because I've had some more time to think on it, Chase. And really, the more I think about it, the craziness that it is for this guy who claims he's trying to save college athletics to be supporting what we're seeing right now. We'll talk about that and more when we come back. Right on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230.
By Tuscaloosa Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Find adventure, power, and performance today at Tuscaloosa Jeep Dodge Ram.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393.
ComputerCareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy.
Experience is preferred but not required. Apply at coviacorp.com or call the Covia office at 205-758-8353.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rental. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Tide 100.9. For more coverage of Alabama football, visit us at Tide100.9.com or download the free Tide 100.9 app.
The Crimson Tide
Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Chase, I wanted to revisit this quote real quick from Cody Campbell, because the more I thought about it yesterday after we got off the show, the more insane it just kind of sounded. And I just really realized like how stupid this whole thing was. Again, Cody Campbell, the big billionaire booster of Texas Tech, who not only is just famous for doing that, but he's also famous for being one of the guys trying to fix this whole issue that we have in college athletics, right? I mean, he's one of the guys that was it Trump's like initial college athletics panel. Remember, he threw Coach Saban on there, and Coach Saban was like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about or what's going on. Cody Campbell, he's always coming up in these conversations about fixing college athletics, but now he's coming up on the opposite side because it's his university that he supports that is just, I guess just got their quarterback that was initially deemed ineligible for gambling. Now he's back eligible by going to a local court there in Lubbock, Texas. But anyway, his quote, I'll put it back on the screen again. This unfortunate situation is the outcome of a broken system. Again, the first line, Chase, this unfortunate situation is the outcome of a broken system. Like, it's like he's playing both sides of the fence, man. I'm doing everything I can to fix it, but until there is a permanent solution, Texas Tech and its student athletes have to do the best they can to navigate and compete amid the chaos that exists in the reality of the world we live in. Chase, now, he went even further. If you go to his ex, he even took shots at the University of Georgia. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, Chase. So on one end, he's over here talking like, oh, this unfortunate situation. I'm trying to do everything I can to fix it, even though I just supported the young man going and suing the NCAA, the local judge, and getting that injunction. But I'm trying to fix this whole sports world that we live in. That is, it's unfortunate that, it is what it is. But then this guy even goes as far as like calling out Georgia and kind of mocking, I guess, the arrests that they have. And it just, Chase, I mean, like, I really can't wrap my head around this. Have you seen what he said about Georgia? Did you see that at all?
This is news to me. What did he say about Georgia?
I don't know. Maybe it was fake news. Maybe I got caught with some fake news. I'm trying to pull it up here now, but it seemed like he was calling out like the number of arrests at Georgia. Did he? Oh no, there it is. Here it is right here. So it was not fake news. So he asked Grok, whatever, AI feature on X, how many Georgia football players have been arrested in the last year? So that was his response. So mind you, initially, Chase, he was Mr. Oh, well, I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to do everything I can. Now he's taking shots at Georgia and the number of arrests that they've had since, I guess, just last year, which is an issue in itself. But here's the biggest difference, Chase. Last time I checked, them getting arrested off the field, granted, it's, they're doing whatever, breaking the law, and it's not great. It's a bad look. It's not gambling. It's not gambling on your own team. It's not like the cardinal sin in sports. It's not something that has a direct effect on sports or the outcome of these games. So what are we doing here, man? I mean, like to me, I'm just, the hypocrisy is just crazy. I mean, don't you agree? It's just not like crazy hypocrisy from a guy who claims he's trying to fix college athletics to then now he's, I guess, defending a guy who was gambling, and now even taking shots at Georgia. And maybe just because they said they don't want to schedule Texas Tech. Let me ask you this. Let me be even more clear with this question. Do you think it's fair that some of these schools are taking this action against Texas Tech? Again, Nebraska and Georgia allegedly have already started notifying their, I guess, the athletic departments not to schedule Texas Tech. And I don't think that's going to be I think that's probably just the start of it. I'm sure you'll probably see some more. It looks like Big Ten officials are expected to discuss in the upcoming days a league-wide mandate not to play Texas Tech in any sports per 3 Big Ten sources. That's according to Pete Thamel, right? So do you think that these Big Ten and I guess also SEC, you got Georgia included, programs, you think that it's fair that they're taking a step as such and saying, hey, we're not going to even schedule Texas Tech at all, whether that's softball, which we know they have a good program there. They just beat us. They lost to Texas in the finals. Football is doing well. I mean, but now people are saying, hey, we don't even want to fool with you guys. Do you think that's fair that other schools are doing this, Chase?
I believe so. I think Texas Tech's integrity, just the way they're viewed right now, I think it's shot. Nobody wants to be involved with a team that is allowing the university is allowing their athletic program to allow this stuff to be going on. And like you said earlier in the show, Texas Tech hadn't known about what Brandon Sorsby was doing. They can't just come out and was very blind to the situation. So I think it also is a bigger view on just the other schools as well, because, this is a whole mess right now, a whole mess. And for teams, not only in football, but like you said, softball, other sports are not even willing to be scheduled with Texas Tech. I feel like this is just getting worse and worse by the day. It just shows that the NCAA as a whole just doesn't have the leverage or the power anymore. Like, when was the last time you heard that a school didn't want to be scheduled? Now, I get it. Some schools want to be scheduled for a certain reason, but you don't hear that like the way we're hearing it now, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, I think it's fair. I think Texas Tech, they tried to have their cake and eat it too. So teams are like, look, we don't want to be involved with what you guys got going on. You represent the Big 12 and we're in it. So we just don't want to be a part of it.
Listen, I think it's fair as well. I mean, now everybody has their own right, and they're not in the same conference, right? Those would be out of conference games anyways, right? Big 10, SEC. Texas Tech is in the Big 12, right? So I mean, they're not in the same conference. It's just them saying, hey, we don't want to schedule them anymore. And I think that's their own right. Now, does that do enough to really stop Texas Tech from moving forward with some of this stuff? Probably not, if we're being honest. I mean, it's probably just going to be, they're probably just going to keep on rolling. But I guess I am going to stay tuned with this whole, appeal that the NCAA is probably going to file and see kind of what comes from that. Because I think that's probably the best chance that they've got to maybe try to slow this whole thing down. But I don't know. I think eventually what could happen is people just kind of move on from it as well. But maybe they don't. Maybe this whole season people are just going to, I don't know. I mean, I do know for a fact if Texas Tech ends up having success, people are going to discredit it. I don't think there's probably going to be an asterisk, but I mean, could the College Football Playoff Committee take a stand? Could they maybe, I don't know, do something to maybe, punish them? I don't know. We got to hit a timeout to stay on schedule. When we come back, I know we got Brady on the phone lines. We'll keep talking about this and more coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We're going back to the phone lines when we come back. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9149 for your free estimate today. That's 205-393-9149. Asphalt Restoration, where smooth roads start. Roll Tide. Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy.
Bluetooth kits, and so much more. If your golf cart needs repairs, the pros at Dixie Custom Carts can handle the job. Dixie Custom Carts, Greensboro Avenue in Tuscaloosa.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies
and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves.
We're here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer.
We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you,
aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Sunshine here this afternoon, 91. 73 tonight with a fair sky. Sunny tomorrow with a high 92. And 92 on Thursday with abundant sunshine. Storm chances and moisture will be on the increase by the end of the week. Showers and storms return to the forecast on Friday, 91. Scattered thunderstorms Saturday, high 90. Richard DeWetting of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media Tuscaloosa.
It's 90 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
A national championship team covering a national championship team. The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday. This is the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Brady up next. Brady, welcome in.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Brady, what's up, man?
Not much, man. I was in town this weekend for baseball. I was listening and figured I'd chime in on the Sorsby thing.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of tied into Alabama baseball. You look at what happened with Brad Bohannon. You didn't hear a peep out of anybody trying to defend the guy. Like, that dude was fired pretty quick. And I think it's kind of crazy that Texas Tech trying to defend this kid. Which, I mean, I get the kid, like, the guy needs help. Like, you spend $100,000 betting on, like, Romanian soccer. You probably got an issue with sports betting. But
sure,
the NCAA rules are pretty clear that if you bet, like, especially betting on your own team, like, I kind of get some of the idea for talk about it if it was a bet here and there on, like, pro football or the NBA or something. But the dude bet multiple times on his own team, which that completely, like, takes the integrity out of sports.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Like, I mean, and I don't know the exact rules or what they are now, but, like, I know a lot of guys, whether they're probably supposed to be doing it or not, like, they would maybe have, I don't know whether it was an app or they had somebody that they might have used to bet on, like, an NBA game, kind of like you were mentioning, right? Like, to me, I'm like, if it's against the rules, you shouldn't be doing it, but something like that's not really affecting the integrity. Like, a guy that plays in the NFL is going to have no impact or effect on anything in the basketball. You get what I'm saying? And if he just wants to put a little, I don't know, prop bet on basketball or, like, number of points somebody scores, something like that, like, that's one thing. But like you said, the fact this guy was betting on his own team and doing all that, man, like that's just a huge no. I don't even know why this is even a discussion. To me, it's just crazy that this is even like they were allowed to do this. You know what I mean? Like, that just is just crazy to me. Like you said, Brad Bohannon, I mean, that was a huge deal in the NBA currently. Now, this is a little bit different. I think those guys were like Terry Rozier was like working with organized crime.
I got the FBI involved with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a serious question. I mean, could he not get in trouble, like, criminally for what he was doing? Does that not apply here? Or, I don't know.
I mean, I don't see the difference. I'm a double major at UA. I'm done with PR, but I'm still finishing my criminal justice degree. And, like, if you're going to apply that to the NBA, what this kid is doing is criminal. And I think that you should kind of look into that in a way. I think he wasn't affecting the game as directly as these NBA players were, because he didn't actually play in any of these games, I don't think.
Right.
But the premise is still there that he was betting on his own team. This is when he was a backup at Indiana. I think it's 21 or 22 was. But the solution is pretty clear: is that everybody should boycott Texas Tech in every sport. Like, they're destroying softball because they're just getting all these good players from different teams and saying, "We'll give you $1 million if you come to Texas Tech," and you can do that all you want. But if there's no team chemistry there, you saw what happened to them this year. They made it the championship series, but they didn't win it.
Right.
I think if the pressure externally is on Texas Tech like that, they're going to cave into it. And the thing with the judge there, like, I would seriously look into it as judicial malpractice if they're put an injunction, and like all four of the courts or the judges on that district court in Texas are all Texas State graduates. So to me, that's a conflict of interest. If I'm the NCAA attorney, I'm like, hey, these people are obviously going to have a problem being unbiased in this case, so they need to recuse themselves, like the Alabama judge did in the Bediako case.
Yeah. Well, it makes me almost feel bad because I always was honest. I was like, man, like I understand there's pros playing overseas, and that's a very fair argument. But I was like, just the fact knowing that Bediako was enrolled in school, declared for the draft, played professionally, and came back. I was just like, personally, I wasn't really for it, but I get it. It was within the rules. It is what it is. But now I'm like, man. I wasn't really either.
Like, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was, I mean, I don't think we're the only ones that kind of share that, but it was because I wanted to maintain as much integrity and as much I guess, what made college athletics what they were, to remain that. But clearly at this point, I mean, I look at LSU's basketball signing class, literally, they're just picking guys from overseas that are grown professionals. Some of them are young guys, I think 20, 21, but they still...
RJ Lewis was traded in the NBA. He was really good at St. John's, Defensive Player of the Year, and he was involved in a trade, I think, between the Knicks and the Celtics or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like, he was involved in a trade in the NBA, and now he's trying to come back to college.
Yeah, they're like Jazz and Celtics or something like that. But let me ask you this, Brady, and I was saying this yesterday. And I've always been the person to say, when people say NIL has ruined college sports for me, I don't care as much as I did before. I've always said, I mean, I can understand people being a little annoyed, but I'm like, man, they know they still enjoy it. They're going to still watch it. But now I find myself, as somebody who never really thought like that, kind of thinking in a similar fashion. I'm like, dude, between NIL and all it is about more money, more of this. I mean, guys don't even come on visits unless they're getting paid. I mean, like, it honestly, I'm to the point where I might just start keeping up more with the NFL. I mean, like, the college doesn't even feel any different anymore. Like, do you feel that your passion for college sports has shifted some as well, or do you think I'm being a little dramatic like some other people?
Well, I think I wouldn't necessarily say it has ruined college sports, like NIL in and of itself. I think what has had a negative impact on college sports is the lack of regulation on NIL. I think when they rolled this out, I was a freshman in 2021, fall of 21. That was the first, I think it was July 1st of that year, you could get NIL. So I remember as a kid growing up, like, you know, these issues. But now you got just no regulation. It's the Wild West. People can do whatever they want. And tampering is bigger now more than ever. That's the part that irritates me the most about it. Is you can have this really good player. Like, look at Isaiah Horton and Isaiah Bond. Like, they're getting tampered with. Hollywood Smothers, we had him in the transfer portal, and then Texas was like, yo, come over here, we'll give you more money. He's like, okay. So I think the thing that has ruined it for me is the lack of regulation, which if I'm watching a game, I'm not really thinking about the players getting paid, because whoever's on my team, I'm going to support those guys in that moment. But I will kind of voice my opinion about some other schools that don't handle it nearly as well as Alabama does. I think we do a really good job handling NIL, but some of the other schools don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would argue the same. I think we've done a nice job, but unfortunately it almost feels like the job that we've been doing, it's been working, but if it doesn't get cleaned up soon, we might not have a choice but to start kind of taking the path or the route of some of these other places. I think I heard Greg Byrne even kind of mentioning that. I mean, like, it's just, in order to keep up, man, you just got to keep adapting, and that's what's driving me nuts. I'm just like, man, at what point is the adapting going to stop? I just feel like it just keeps going and going, and it's just never ending. But I don't know. Hopefully we can get us a solution pretty soon. Brady, go ahead.
Really quick, the solution I think that could happen is that make FBS football its own thing, like its own entity, but keep the NCAA in charge of all the other, like, Olympic sports, and FCS and below, like all those divisions of football, and make FBS football and the CFP its own thing. Have a set board, set rules, set commission. Like, if you break the rules, you're not eligible for the CFP for this amount of time. That's just my solution. I don't know if that'll ever happen. Because the problem you might run into is if football gets too powerful with their stay with the NCAA, it might kill some of these other sports.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what they've tried to express that, but people, think Coach Saban's just selfishly going up there, just trying to look cool in front of cameras, I guess. But that's literally kind of what he's explaining.
Good talking to you guys.
Yes, sir. Always. You too, Brady. Take care, man. Yes, sir. Good stuff. All right, we got to hit the time out. When we come back, we wrap things up on this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Coming up on The Game with Ryan Fowler.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of The Game, we're going to have a chance to talk to Mike Detillier, WWL. The Big 870, we'll talk to Andy Phillips, former Alabama Crimson Tide baseball player the last time Alabama went to Omaha. And we'll talk to the athletic director for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Greg Byrne, all on the Tuesday edition of The Game, starting at 2 p.m. on Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, your home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
The longest-running sports talk show in Tuscaloosa. The Game with Ryan Fowler. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. And streaming worldwide on the free Tide app.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies
And the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
And won't take no for an answer.
We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers and mentors who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you.
Aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393.
Give Adams Services a call at 205-339-6540 or visit us at adamsvcs.com. Your local experts.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless advocacy. For guidance you can trust, call 201-317-5115 or visit lamparello-law.com. That's Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Proud partner. Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact...
Possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit TremFyaRadio.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Sunshine here this afternoon, 91. 73 tonight with a fair sky. Sunny tomorrow with a high 92. 92 on Thursday with abundant sunshine. Storm chances and moisture will be on the increase by the end of the week. Showers and storms return to the forecast on Friday, 91. Scattered thunderstorms Saturday, high 90. Richard DeWetting of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 91 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, y'all. This is Alabama offensive lineman William Sanders, and you're listening to Tide 100.9, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports.
Briefly, as we wrap things up on this Talking Tuesday edition. Hey, real quick, I also want to remind you about our friends over at R&R Cigars. If you guys are looking for a place to go hang out, you got some nice weather. Finally stopped raining, Chase. It's back to being sunny again. Great weather to go sit out on the porch at R&R Cigars. Enjoy yourself a nice stick. Best humidor in the Southeast, but remember, if you do go there and you enjoy one of those, I guess, over 160 bourbons that they have, or multiple, make sure you guys drink responsibly. But great energy there, great ambiance. They got the humidor in there, best one in the Southeast. They got all those drinks for you. They got TVs throughout. You can go watch your favorite sporting events, kick back and relax and have a great time. Again, that's R&R Cigars, 2703 Gary Fitz Street here in Tuscaloosa. Plus, you can always go watch anything, really. They got it up on the TV. Kick back and relax. Have yourself a good time right there at R&R Cigars. That'll do it for us in this Talking Tuesday. Big thanks to Chase and everybody that made it possible. Our listeners via Tide 100.9 over on the streams on YouTube, X, and Facebook, of course, as well. We look forward to coming back and doing it again with you guys tomorrow, right here, same time, same place, on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We'll see you guys then.